Right now, in 2026, a quiet war is being fought. Not on exchanges. Not in the headlines. It's being fought in the corridors of Silicon Valley, in the server rooms of Hedera, in Ripple's boardroom, and in the office of one man who owns Rockets, a brain chip company, and a social network with 600 million users. That man is Elon Musk. And the crypto community is convinced he has already chosen a cryptocurrency for his payment system, X Payments. He just hasn't told us which one yet. Today we break it all down. We're going to compare XRP, HBAR, and XLM not just by numbers but for real. We'll look at what the world's leading AI systems say about them: ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. And I'm going to show you the evidence the crypto community has been piecing together for years, why one of these three coins could become the fuel powering the biggest financial app in internet history. Let's be honest about who we're dealing with here. A lot of people mix up these coins. They think they're basically the same. They're not. Each one has a completely different strategy, a completely different army behind it, and a completely different enemy. XRP is the corporate heavyweight. Ripple has been around since 2012. In that time, the company has built partnerships with more than 300 financial institutions worldwide. Their technology, RippleNet, is already being used by real banks for real cross-border transfers. Transactions settle in 3 to 5 seconds. Fees are fractions of a cent. But XRP has a scar. A years-long legal battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission left its mark even after Ripple's partial legal victory. Institutional investors stayed cautious for a long time. Now, in 2026, the clouds are starting to clear. An XRP ETF is actively being discussed, and if it gets approved with real inflows, the picture changes dramatically. XLM is the digital Robin Hood. Stellar launched in 2014. It was created by Jed McCaleb, the same person who co-founded Ripple, then left and decided to build the same thing, but for people instead of banks. XLM settles transactions in 2 to 5 seconds. Fees are minimal. The focus is on people without bank accounts. Workers in Latin America sending money home. Farmers in Africa getting access to financial services for the first time. Noble? Yes. But in market terms, that means less corporate lobbying, fewer institutional dollars behind it. What it does have is a potential audience of billions. HBAR is alien technology. Hedera Hashgraph is not a traditional blockchain. It runs on a completely different architecture, a hashgraph, specifically a directed acyclic graph. Sounds intimidating? Here's the simple version. Imagine a regular blockchain as a checkout line at a grocery store, one person at a time. Hedera is like all the checkout lanes operating simultaneously, with no line at all. The result: more than 10,000 transactions per second. That's faster than Visa. Energy consumption is practically zero compared to Ethereum or Bitcoin. And running the network is the governing council, a board of 39 global corporations, including Google, IBM, Boeing, and Deutsche Telekom. This isn't a startup. This is a planetary-scale consortium. Now, the really interesting part. We live in an era where people literally ask AI where to put their money. Is that crazy? Or is it the future of financial analysis? Let's look at what the three biggest players in artificial intelligence are actually saying. ChatGPT on XRP. ChatGPT has taken a measured, cautious position. As of its most recent update in early 2026, ChatGPT's base case for XRP by end of December 2026 lands between $2.10 and $2.60, assuming the market moves from contraction into early recovery in the second half of the year. On the upside, if liquidity conditions improve significantly, ChatGPT sees a possible range of $3 to $4.20. On the downside, in a risk-off environment, a drop to $0.95 to $1.30 is not ruled out. ChatGPT also flags a structural concern across all three coins. Stablecoins and central bank digital currencies are becoming real competition for native crypto tokens in the payment space. In other words, the technology is solid, but in a world dominated by CBDCs, you have to ask whether the native token itself will actually be needed. Gemini XRP. Google's Gemini model sees two distinct phases for XRP in 2026. Consolidation in the first half of the year, somewhere between $1.15 and $1.50, as the market digests the earlier correction. Then a stronger move in Q3 and Q4, pushing toward $2.80 to $3.50. Gemini's overall year-end target is $3.15. Like ChatGPT, Gemini ties much of this to ETF inflow momentum and regulatory developments in the US. Grok, the most aggressive forecast. Grok, from Elon Musk's XAI, gives the widest probability range of all three models. Its base case 50% probability puts XRP finishing 2026 between $2 and $3.50, assuming ETF inflows reach $2 to $3 billion. The bear case, 30% probability, traps XRP between $0.80 and $1.10 if macro conditions deteriorate. The bull case, 20% probability, sees XRP at $5 to $8 if Bitcoin establishes a structural floor near $150,000, triggering a late-cycle altcoin expansion. Grok's single-number year-end expectation is approximately $3.20. Notice something interesting here. Grok is the AI built by Elon Musk's company, and it is consistently one of the more bullish models on XRP. Coincidence? Or does Grok know something we don't? The outlier Claude. For completeness, Anthropic's Claude has actually taken the most conservative short-term position of all the major AI models, placing XRP's expected 2026 value corridor between $1.30 and $1.80 in its base case. At the same time, Claude was among the first to model a $14 upside scenario, but that requires a very specific combination of $10 billion ETF inflows and accelerated bank adoption. Both models acknowledge the range is wide precisely because the uncertainty is high. What do all 13 AI models say together? When you aggregate the forecasts from all 13 major AI models studied in a March 2026 analysis, including ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, Gemini, and others, the picture becomes clearer. The majority of scenarios place XRP between $1.20 and $3.85 by December 2026. The single highest projection from one of the more aggressive models is $3.85. The most recent consensus base case from top-tier platforms, as of May 2026, sits between $1.50 and $3.50, heavily contingent on sustained institutional ETF inflows. Forecasts for HBAR. The AI consensus on Hedera is more modest. Most models place HBAR in a range between $0.08 and $0.24 for 2026, with the current market price sitting around $0.08 to $0.09. KuCoin's analysis calls 2026 a consolidation year for HBAR, with an average target of $0.18. The long-term picture looks more interesting by 2030. HBAR is projected to climb to a range of $0.30 to $1.10 as enterprise adoption matures, with a realistic average estimate of $0.55. Forecasts for XLM. Stellar is in a similar position. As of June 2026, XLM trades around $0.17. The base case consensus from technical models places XLM between $0.20 and $0.35 by year-end 2026, representing a 30 to 120% gain from current levels, if Bitcoin stabilizes and macro risks recede. In a more optimistic, long-term scenario, XLM could reach $1 by 2030. The bottom line on AI forecasts. No AI model is saying any of these three coins will go to the moon this year. What they are saying across the board is that 2026 is a consolidation and recovery year. The bigger moves come later. When regulatory clarity is established, ETF infrastructure is built out, and real-world payment adoption either proves itself or doesn't. Now the hottest part. The reason you probably clicked on this video. What is X money and X payments? Elon Musk has been talking about transforming X, formerly Twitter, into an everything app for years. Something like WeChat for the Western world. In early 2026, internal reports confirmed that X money was already being tested among company employees. The broader launch was targeted for spring 2026. In early 2025, X signed a strategic agreement with Visa users would be able to use both physical and virtual debit cards linked to their X wallet. The initial offering, a $25 sign-up bonus, cashback, bank account linking, interest-bearing deposits. Crypto integration was confirmed as the next phase. Then in February 2026, X's head of product, Nikita Beer, announced that direct crypto and stock trading was coming directly to the feed via smart cash tags. The concept? You scroll through X, you see a post about XRP, and you can buy it in one tap without ever leaving the app. Theory 1. Musk picks XRP. In January 2026, crypto influencer Jack the Rippler published a video claiming that Musk was planning to integrate XRP and RLUSD, Ripple's own stablecoin, directly into X payments. No official confirmation. But the argument is compelling. XRP already works with banks. The technology is proven. More than 300 financial partners. If X wants to become a global payment platform, it needs a coin that already has real institutional infrastructure behind it. And Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin adds another layer. A stablecoin paired with XRP as a settlement asset gives you a ready-made payment pair right out of the box. Theory 2. Musk picks HBAR. This theory first surfaced in 2022. When Musk posted a cryptic tweet featuring a symbol strikingly similar to Hedera's logo. No explanation. The crypto community went wild. The post was never clarified. Why would HBAR make sense for X? First, speed. Over 10,000 transactions per second. Second, governance. A corporate council that includes Google and IBM fits perfectly with the enterprise-level ambitions Musk has for X. Third, micropayments. X has repeatedly stated its intention to monetize content creators directly. Tiny, instant, near-free transactions are exactly what HBAR is built for. Theory 3. Musk picks XLM. Stellar is the quiet contender. But it has one card the others don't. It's already integrated with MoneyGram and other global remittance systems. XLM works with most national currencies through network anchors and partners. If Musk wants to capture developing markets, billions of people across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, XLM is arguably the most practical choice. There's another angle here. USD Coin, better known as USDC, runs natively on the Stellar blockchain. Circle, which creates USDC, has been building aggressively on Stellar's infrastructure. And USDC is widely considered one of the most likely candidates for integration into X money. What does the fact-checking actually say? Let's be direct. None of these theories are confirmed. There is no official statement from Musk, from Ripple, from Hedera, or from X. The Jack the Ripper XRP story was traced back to social media speculation with no verified source. The HBAR symbol post was never officially explained. The XLM USDC connection is real, but there's no confirmed X integration. What's true is this: X has confirmed it is moving into payments and crypto. The direction is clear. The specific asset choices have not been announced. That's where we actually stand as of June 2026. And yet the rumors themselves move markets. When the XRP and X payment story broke, the price responded. When Musk's cryptic HBAR adjacent post circulated, Hedera saw days of positive trading. This is the crypto market. Here, the narrative has a dollar value. Let's break this down clearly. XRP is the most institutionally ready of the three. More than 300 bank and financial institution partnerships, a proven settlement network, and the most media attention around X payments integration. The AI consensus base case puts it finishing 2026 between $1.50 and $3.50, with Grok's single number estimate at $3.20 and Gemini's at $3.15. The risk is regulatory overhang and stablecoin competition. HBAR has the most impressive raw technology, over 10,000 transactions per second, near zero energy usage, and a governing council that reads like a Fortune 500 directory. But the price forecasts are the most modest: $0.08 to $0.24 for 2026, with real upside building toward 2030 inches, the $0.30 to $1.10 range. It's a long game play. XLM is the social mission coin built for the unbanked, integrated with remittance systems and carrying the USDC connection as a quiet but significant advantage. The 2026 range sits at $0.20 to $0.35, with a longer-term $1 target by 2030 inches optimistic scenarios. Each of these coins is not just a token. It's a bet on a different version of what the future of money looks like. Whose bet is smarter? Here's the question I want to leave you with. If you believe X Payments is going to become the PayPal of the next generation, that hundreds of millions of people will be sending money, making purchases, and trading directly inside what used to be Twitter, then your bet depends on answering one question: what does Musk actually need? Does he need the banking world on his side? Then XRP. Ripple already sells them solutions. RippleNet works. The infrastructure is ready. Does he need corporate tech giants as allies? Then HBAR. Google and IBM on the governing board aren't decoration. They're a strategic alliance. Does he need to reach the 2 billion people who've never had a bank account? Then XLM. Stellar operates where Swift doesn't exist. Or maybe Musk does something nobody expects, integrates Doge just because he can. Or creates his own X coin from scratch. Or, most likely, he integrates multiple coins and lets the market decide. The AI systems give us a range of scenarios. For XRP, a base case of $1.50 to $3.50 by end of 2026, with bull scenarios reaching $5 to $8 and a reasonable central estimate around $3.15 to $3.20. For HBAR, for XLM, $0.20 to $0.35 for year-end 2026, with a long-term path toward $1. The spreads are wide. That's not a weakness in the analysis. That's the honest reality of a market where the biggest variable is a decision being made right now in the office of a man who has already launched electric vehicles, private rockets, a neural interface company, and bought the most influential social network on the planet. Whatever he chooses, it will move these markets. Permanently. The only question that matters now: are you positioned before the announcement or after it? Drop your answer in the comments. Which of the three do you think Musk picks and why? I read every single one. See you in the next video.